Hello and good evening, everyone from India, and happy International Women's Day. Today, we have come together to celebrate the incredible contributions and achievements of women around the world. And here is our very own company, LawSikho. With pride, I would like to highlight that our workforce comprises of 63% women, a testament to the strength, talent, and dedication that women are bringing into our organization each and every day. As we commemorate this special day, let us not only celebrate the progress we have made towards gender equality, but also reflect on the work that still lies ahead. It's essential that we continue to foster an inclusive and supportive environment where everyone, regardless of gender, can thrive and succeed. I would encourage each one of you to take a moment to recognize the women in your life, whether it's a colleague, friend, family member, or mentor, and express your appreciation for their contributions and achievements, not only today, but every day. Today, let's together continue to champion the gender equality cause forever. Thank you all for being a part of our journey towards a more equitable and inclusive future. I now welcome our very own and lovely Miss Millie to introduce our esteemed guests. Millie, please join our stage and introduce our guests.
Thank you, Divya. Yeah. So moving ahead, we are excited to introduce Deepika Jaradi, a qualified company secretary and a law graduate with a passion of making a name for herself. She started working as a company secretary in a public unlisted company, after which she took a career break to nurture her family. She joined the LawSikho course to upskill herself, after which she started her own practice and started working from home. Let's welcome Miss Silvia Munjal, who is a law graduate and one of the overachiever of LawSikho. Along with her, with her international business law practice, she is a full-time mom also. During COVID, when she joined LawSikho, her focus was to upskill herself and become financially independent by freelancing. She did so well, for which she gives credit to freelancing and work from home, that she could even plan her second kid and she didn't have to think about leaving a job. Next, we would like to talk about Shreya Bhar. She is an NUJS graduate. She started working with a tier 1 law firm but had to take a career break. While she dealt with her personal challenges, she wanted to restart her career and joined one of our LawSikho courses as she felt the need to upskill herself. She started working hard and fast and secured a job. At first, she has to settle for a smaller package. Just yesterday, she shared with us that she has secured a job offer with, and she'll be working with a PSU now. It's my pleasure to introduce a visionary leader, Miss Komal Shah, an internationally qualified professional who felt the need to work from home, and LawSikho being the only one who offered work from home in the legal domain at that time. Given her extensive experience, she first started as a part time content writer. Then she went on to become the head of the content team. Today, she is a co founder and chief knowledge officer and heads our Upwork agency, pitching to startups and remote clients for work that can be performed by our learners.
Thank you so much, Millie, for introducing our esteemed guests. Now, I would love to start the discussion and ask all four of you to give your views one by one as you feel like about your thoughts on the current discussion, which is about the importance of economic independence in order to promote equality and inclusivity. Please, floor is all yours. Speakers, you are there. Thank you so much. Let's start with Komal ma'am herself and we'll keep on hearing the story alongside. Please, ma'am, go ahead. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you so much. I am very happy to see all of my law Sipo students being here. All successful females in their respective fields. It's very happy to sit with them on it at this forum today. So the question here is talking about, or which relates to, economic independence. Obviously, if you are financially independent, that's the meaning I take of economic independence. If you are financially independent, you have your own means. It gives you a very different level of confidence in all activities that you do. um, and I have had first-hand experience of, facing this kind of thing, because if you remember, we had this demonetization somewhere in 2016, and that was just a little after I moved from Dublin to India, where I was also looking for, like, employment opportunities. And what I discovered that is, in that demonetization time, there were a lot of women who turned out to be storing cash in their cupboards. Okay, they were storing a lot of cash in the form of 500 rupee, 1000 rupee notes in their cupboard. They must have saved it over, like, from whatever their husbands were giving, they will take a little bit out of it and store it. Whatever expenses they were supposed to get, because if they were not financially independent, they wanted to have some sort of a cushion or some sort of a cash or storage available to them, to be able to spend as they wished. And this led to, and because there was demonetization, they had to actually bring it out of the cupboard in order to, like, demonetize it. It's really really shocking that, in their own families, they didn't feel secure enough, to, or free enough to be able to spend money or things like that as they wished. They felt that need to take that money and store it in their cupboards, to be used at their discretion, because they didn't feel, when their husbands, their children were earning, they didn't feel it was their income. They didn't feel they were free enough to deal with it as they pleased. They didn't even have any view of, in many cases, of what their husbands or kids were earning, where they were investing. None of that was there. So that is one thing that makes you think, really, what is the importance of financial independence. Okay, if you have your own money, you have control over it, you are able to spend it according to your discretion, you are able to invest it according to your discretion. It gives you a very different level of confidence, right? So
Wow,
definitely
ma'am.
that's something that, matters for everybody, right?
Ma'am, thank you
That's
for your beautiful insight. Let's now hear from Ms. Munjal.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me here. And as Komal ma'am said, yes, financial independence is very essential for women. And if I can tell about my experience about this, that uh, I would frankly say that after joining LawSikho and doing this freelancing with the help of LawSikho, I experienced truly financially independent, and I felt that yes, now I can spend my money in my way. And that's a different kind of feeling and the liberty which I can right now feel. And it was not that I was not getting money from home, and it was not like that, but the discretion and the choice of things which now I can make for my kids, for me, that is another level of comfort. I do not have to ask for any tiny thing for for asking money at home, and I'm feeling really comfortable. And it is really essential for every woman to feel that kind of comfort. And if I would not be joining LawSikho and would not be in this position, uh, that might be a very you can say that might be very different level of dependence would be with me, for me. So now it is like I'm very much comfortable in this regard.
Thank you so much for your beautiful views. Let's move on and hear from Deepika ji about her thoughts about inclusivity and how we, as independents, how we are making the changes in the world. Floor is all yours, ma'am. You are on mute. Deepika ji, you are on mute. mute.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, first of all. So, my point of view is, as far as the economically independent thing is concerned, like when women are economically independent, it means they can make their own decisions and are not reliant on others for money. This helps to create a fair and inclusive society by giving a woman a fair chance, and they can start their own business. It's like giving them what we can say, it's like giving them the key to more opportunities, so that they can stand on the same ground as men and have their say in their own lives. So as far as my experience is concerned, when I was in a job, I was getting money, but somewhere down the line I was not satisfied. So after my kid was born, I was not in a position to go to the office full time. I was not in a position to do a full time job. So I joined LawSikho, and after that, with the help of LawSikho, I started doing my freelancing work. And now, when today in today's time, when I see myself, this Deepika is much more confident as compared to the Deepika who were in a job. So yes, financial stability, economically independent thing is very much important, and it gives you confidence. It gives you uh, another perspective towards life. So this is my experience.
Thank you so much for sharing your personal experience. Now we'll move and ask Ms. Shreya Bhar to share her experience and her piece of story with us about this.
Hello, everyone. Happy International Women's Day, and hello, fellow speakers. I have I have quite a few points to make. Basically, since I am a daughter of my mother, she has single-handedly raised two daughters, making me a lawyer, my sister a CA, and after tragedy struck, and she battled everything. She's a leading doctor in Calcutta right now. And I see my own mummy also. She battled racism and casteism together, and now she's a leading doctor again in the government service. So she has coming from this background, I thought I could also make it. And I started off, you think that, okay, she's an NUJS grad, to uska to ho gaya. ठीक है. So started off with an LKS Lakshmi Kumaran in Calcutta as a associate. I stayed there for 2 years. I moved to ICICI Bank and became a manager with in the legal department. But after that, I had my personal aspirations, which thankfully I have achieved now, to get into the central government service. I wanted to go into the administrative service, but as luck would have it, I reached till interview, but I could not crack that. But while I was studying that, I took a break from my career. That was my career break. And within that time also, I had to battle a lot of personal, because initially I did not get the support of my family. And as we are talking about financial stability and how much it is required to have a financial cushion, my 3 years, 2.5 years of job experience, I actually made a bit of a financial planning, that itna I will spend and itna I will be saving. That actually helped me not only to get yes, that did not turn out to be fruitful, because I took Vision IAS courses and everything, but for UPSC that didn't work out for me. But during the COVID times also, initially I couldn't take money from my family, because I was involved in some. They were not supportive of my decision initially. My parental, I won't say my mother's side, but other side. So and there was other reasons, personal reasons. So that cushion that I had, it actually pulled me through 2-3 years in COVID without work. There were sporadic things which I could do. At that time, we did not have this remote work. I did not have that remote work concept. That I got to know after I joined LawSikho. So right now, I do have a Upwork account and everything, and everything has been really good, because after that, when I joined in 2022, I realized that mera last attempt to ho gaya, and at that time I couldn't crack mains, and then I wanted to come back. So I repeatedly applied everywhere. I still had some amount of savings left, and at that time there was somehow my family saw that this she's going to do this no matter what. Kuch to karegi. So I again with their encouragement, initially it was just I just wanted to study. I was very scared that I cannot go back to the job market, I cannot do this. And even after repeatedly I kept applying, and finally I got through in one of the good law firms in Calcutta as a senior associate over there in the corporate law team. Even there I felt very underconfident. And then I came across this boot camp that was happening, international contract drafting. So I took that up, and after that, that helped me upskill myself. And thereafter, things just kept falling into place. Um, yes, it a work gives you financial independence and everything, that is definitely there. But you also have to think that if you actually plan it out properly, it cushioned me during 3 years of COVID, where there was no proper cash flow, and I was not in a position to ask for money from much of my folks, because I really don't like doing that. They have their own, but I have to earn my own. Otherwise, it just feels unfair in a way, because I have
Wow.
seen the struggles of my mother and my mommy, and all the women in my family. I've seen how they struggled against everything and kept going
Wow.
on. So I
What a beautiful story you have shared with us today. And you're getting emotional as well, we can see, but it's a very beautiful and empowering story. We would love to now go to the next question so that every one of us can hear other stories as well. And to be very frank, I also started feeling like it's very emotional moment. The way you are explaining about the women power in your life, it's absolutely amazing, commendable. So now that we have understood that our distinguished guests are not only influential women but also very incredibly independent, how do you envision your life if you did not have this economic independence uh, as you have right now? We'll again start in the same sequence with Komal ma'am to go first. Where do you see yourself without this backup or without this cushion of economic independence? Ma'am, please.
Yeah, so I can come back to a time in 2015, and that's when I had just landed from Dublin to India, and I was having a fairly senior position in Dublin, right? And when I landed here in India, the situation was that I did not want to go into a full time role for the simple reason that my kid had just faced, like, a most a very important cultural change, right? Like when you're moving from abroad to India, it's a big cultural change for the kid. I wanted to give her time, like, to adjust everything, and I definitely did not feel confident leaving her to any crash or any daycare center or things. Okay, now in that situation, there's definitely a feeling that you are not doing your part. Like, Shreya just said that it feels unfair. It feels like you are not doing your part in sharing the load of the family if you are not earning. One thing is that. One big thing is that. Another thing that you definitely feel is, the scene before you is that it's like one person earning and there are some four or five dependents, and the future looks very bleak. You feel like, when will there be a time when you're going to come out of, a situation where you will have some good amount of savings, maybe able to travel somewhere, maybe able to buy some things, maybe able to buy a house, or spend on furniture or things like that. It feels like, it's going to take a very long period of time before that happens. It basically feels like, you must spend every penny very, very consciously. A, because you are not earning it. B, because there is one earner and a lot of dependence on it. So all the time you are in a stressed situation where you don't feel enjoyment. You are not, like, in a zone too. And on top of it, if there is a hospitalization, or some old person who needs to be taken care of, as happened in our situation, um, it's very difficult to manage, because you're spending loads in that situation. And again, there's this one earner, lot of people who are dependents. You are not, and it's very frustrating, because you are not even able to use your skill. You have that skill, and you can't use it. You can't put it to good use. You can't get, the worth of it, and you are not able to help your family. Okay, it's a very frustrating and a stressed situation, and everything down the line of future looks very bleak. Not something you would like to be in, right? People
Thank
do
you,
manage,
ma'am,
but
for sharing
it's
you.
very uncomfortable.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's too difficult to share such stories which are very personal in nature. But definitely, this gives a lot of courage to others as well when they listen to this and realize that if they are working, if they are independent and economically independent mostly, so it helps them have that courage and come out and talk about all these things and understand why they need to work, especially women. Now let's move to Ms. Silvia Munjal and hear her thought about this. What does she think if she was not economically independent or independent for that matter? What would have been the scenario? We are here to hear your story.
Scenario. I mean, this question is really for me. I feel that, and the thing is that a Sylvia which is alive, which is bubbly, which is talkative, and independent, and all the factors. If we are taking out of someone, and she is just doing the things blandly and very sad, and I mean, what not you can say, the discretion is not there, that your say will not be there, that what you want, what you don't want, everything, every time you'll have to ask for something. So that is another, that is completely a dependent situation would be, if I would not have become financially independent this way. And one more story I want to share here, the part of my life that uh, when uh, when I joined LawSikho, it was like 2021, and my daughter was 1.5 year old, and I was like in a mindset that when she will grow up, how would she is going to see me as a housewife? No. And I wanted to do something that I could tell her that your mom is this. That was my single biggest motivation, that it was churning my mind day and night, because I have already left my job and I was doing nothing at that point of time, and COVID hit. So that situation was really bad, and that was, you can say that that was the lowest point of my life when LawSikho came in my life, you can say that. And I stumbled upon a LawSikho event and the boot camp, and everything changed. I mean, Ramanuj has opened the ocean of opportunities in that boot camp, you can say that. And he just guided me in the boot camp, and I just started doing everything, uh, closing my eyes, right? And uh, everything else is like, you can
Wow.
say,
That's kind of dream come true for you. When you
yes.
hit rock bottom, usually you rise only. You cannot go anywhere below that. So we are so happy that you came across to LawSikho and you learned directly from Ramanuj and you understood how you have to do it and actually gained the perspective and did what you wanted to do the most to show your daughter that how good her mother is and what all she can achieve. Now let's move on and hear story about how Deepika Jaradi thinks about if she was not economically independent, what would have been the scenario? Please.
I can't imagine myself like that. uh, uh, so, uh, For this thing, I should go back to year 2015, when in 2013 I got married, and I was doing my CS professional. I was in final CS final, and I was not able to clear my exams. Like it took me 3 to 4 attempts to clear my CS, and at that point of time, my husband bought a house, and we were living on rent, and we were paying the rent plus EMI. It was from his salary only, and his salary was, it was around, I guess, 38 or 40K. It was not much, and out of that, more than half salary was going in, one in installment and one was in rent. So at that point of time, I was feeling very helpless. Like, I'm not able to clear the exam, I'm not able to do anything. And that phase was the lowest phase of my life. And when I cleared CS, and since from childhood, I saw my father working very hard, so I always wanted that once I'll get married, I will help my husband, so that he should have that thing in his mind. No, my wife is here, she will help me out. So today is the scenario that sometimes, if there is some bigger decision related to money, we sit together and we share whatever is the investment that we want to do. So without economic, like without this LawSikho or without this freelancing, it wouldn't have been possible for me. This is that.
Wow. Thank you for sharing your personal story. Now, uh, the independence has helped you not only gain perspective, but you have come across a lot of issues which you have faced. I won't say issues, I would say challenges, and you have overcome them like a superwoman. It's amazing to hear all that. Thank you so much
And
for
after
sharing your story.
after this freelancing, I came to know about some positive things regarding me. So this is the best part for me here.
Wow, thank you so much. So let's move and ask Ms. Shreya Bhar about her thought process, as in if she was not in the same space right now, how does she imagine her life?
Thank you for your question. Actually, I wasn't in this space for quite a while, and as I said, that the cushioning of that thing that I had earned actually helped. As a woman, I would actually suggest to everyone, as Komal ma'am suggested, that they used to store 500, 100,000 rupee ka note. फिर demonetization hua and that happened. So we are supposed to have this savings, and savings happen only when you are earning. Otherwise, you have to. The money doesn't feel your own, and if you have to think, the fact that I could take the LawSikho course myself is because I could be, I started working and I didn't have to ask कि मुझे ये करना है वो करना है. Secondly, we always talk of, you know, the shared responsibilities of a household. Yes, uh, we also have to understand that sometimes it's, for me, my husband, my fiance, he is a businessman, and कभी बिजनेस ऊपर नीचे होता है, ये all these things I see. But अगर we have decided that since we will be having a salaried background from me, so that will actually cushion some of the things, and uska savings, so initially it actually gives, entire corpus increases, and you can actually think ki ha, we have enough savings to fall back. Today, if another demonetization happens or another pandemic or another thing happens, we will not be stumped. And if I didn't have this money on my own, if I didn't have financial independence, I would be stressed out. I used to be stressed out. It was me studying and me thinking that how do I earn so that I can actually go for this. You look at a very simple thing at a shop window and you're like, okay, mm, not this time, but that feeling, and if you are expressing that to your loved one, okay, उसको भी ऐसा लगेगा अरे ले लेना, and then you will feel like no I don't, it's just that feeling, because you would also want to gift your sister, brother, mother, father, husband, fiance, like they would do it for you, you want to do it for them too. And being financially independent, actually that is the best aspect, that I would say, that i can I can actually chip put in my 2 cents in my family too. It wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the money, if it wouldn't have been possible to take care of my own needs and own necessities. And this entire thing that I will have to ask someone for something, it feels like they're already burdened, they are doing their own bit, they are looking after the family. These small things that I can take, you know um, if I can contribute, it actually helps, it just helps the family, it helps us grow. It's like equal
Thank
shouldering
you.
of responsibilities in a different concept. I mean, we talk about the man shouldering parenthood and everything, it is the other way around, I hope I can make you guys understand what I'm leading to.
Yes, we can understand that you are
It's
absolutely
like
emotional.
you want your own control over your life, and you want to make your own decisions, and you want to make that decision properly. You want to do something for someone, and you don't really have to think अरे उसको ही उसका ही पैसा लेके उसके लिए केक खरीदे क्या, ये नहीं सोचना है, you know.
What a beautiful thought. It's absolutely encouraging. Actually, what you are sharing, most of the times people shy away from sharing those perspectives that yes, uska hi paisa leke usi ko gift dena hai kya is a very big thought process. But thank you for sharing that kind of intimate thing. And on that note, I would now move forward to Komal ma'am, and I would like to ask some words of wisdom about how I would say women or even men, how can they plan this ahead of the time and plan their economic independence properly so that this feeling is not there in most of the youth, most of the people who are feeling very dependent. And you, as a co-founder of such a big organization which recently launched an IPO as well, we would love to hear your thoughts for the new entrants in the workforce. And please enlighten us with your thoughts, ma'am.
I am not sure here exactly what the question is based on what you
Now, the
asked.
question is give us some key points, as in how we can plan our finances better, or what kind of upskilling we should do in order to move ahead and have an independent life rather than having a dependent life like Ms. Bhar was talking about, that to take money from parents or family members and giving them gift from that money itself. So, what kind of work we should be doing? How should we upskill ourselves? Please, ma'am.
Yeah, so first of all, as you yourself said, upskilling, you have to look at skills which the market wants. Okay, most often the problem that happens with us, okay, is that we feel कि मैं सीए हूँ तो मुझे अकाउंट्स और टैक्स करना है, मैं लॉयर हूँ तो मुझे कोर्ट में लिटिगेशन करना है, मैं आई एम लाइक आई एम ए क्वालिफाइड इंजीनियर तो मुझे ये काम करना है. दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ थिंग दैट वी गेट स्टक इन. Unfortunately the world doesn't stay with your qualification. Okay, so जैसे लोग होते हैं, people will demand different skills, and you have to be in touch with what the market wants. You can't be stuck with like I am a CA तो मुझे इसी तरीके से पैसे कमाने हैं. When you get stuck with that, it becomes very difficult. You have to develop the skill which the market wants at that point of time. Okay, when you are seeking to earn money from the market, you have to give them what they want. You can't say कि I am qualified in this way तो मैं यही काम कर सकता हूँ या कर सकती हूँ. Like I'm saying, when I was in 2015, I was at an AVP level in a fund manager. Okay, at a fund manager organization, I was in an AVP level. If I come here in India and I insist कि नहीं मुझे तो ये level का ही काम करना है, otherwise I won't be able to do anything. Okay, it becomes very difficult to work with. Now at that point of time, I had an organization which was looking for content writing and contribution, and in end it was connected with law, and I was like, okay, I can write, let me try to write, let me try to work that way. So I was looking to give the market what it wanted. So you have to develop skills which are marketable. That is the first and the most important thing. Your skills have to be marketable. Your skills have to be something which the market is looking for, and not basis your background that मैंने ये पढ़ा है तो ये काम कर सकते हो और कुछ नहीं है. You that thing you have to do away with. And the second thing is obviously, which I believe Priyanka now can give better, is managing your money, of course, right? So, actively you must know that where is your money lying? Okay. What is the best place you can put it at the moment where you get the highest returns and yet you have access to it when you need it? Okay. So you have to look at trying to get that. But that comes at a later stage when you have adequate funds available with you, so that you have a buffer that is available which which you can start investing with or working with. In fact, a lot of people say that invest first or save first and then spend later. So you have to always look at putting some part of money, which, and the earlier you start at it, the greater the better it is for you, right? So it will show, then at a later stage you can grow and multiply your investment, right? So I'd like to recommend one book which I've started reading and very recently only started reading, but it has a very interesting beginning, so you would like it. It's known as The Psychology of Money.
Money.
Just like, if you find it and you look at, you will realize, like, people who were at janitor levels, they saved little bit. They worked all their life as a janitor. They had some 7 million dollars with them at the time they were dead, out of which they donated a lot of money. So this is what, like, investments or and the compounding power can achieve. So these are the two things. Like, first of all, learn marketable skills. Second, learn how to manage money. Once you are in these two, like, a
Thank
lot of things as well.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of wisdom. Yes, Psychology of Money is a beautiful book. I have read it a couple of times. I would also add another book, The Compounding Effect. Compound Effect. It's also another amazing book where you can understand how you can invest and understand about the compounding effect as well. So, ma'am, thank you for your words of wisdom. Now we'll move on to Ms. Silvia Munjal and would like to ask her wisdom nuggets for our learners, for our viewers as well, as in how should they plan their future, which will secure this buffer of having enough to go through any situation whatsoever.
First of all, I would start with that we should not think about the small short run things. We keep the things for the long run. Like, I can tell it from my experience that when I started doing this, I thought that I am going to be here uh, for the long run. Like, हम कहते हैं ना हिंदी में कि लंबी रेस का घोड़ा बनना है हमें. So I started that way. I did not chase the things that I want to earn overnight. I tried building skills step by step, and uh, literally, I would say that I learned one agreement, so I started implementing that. I was that kind of the learning was that kind of in depth that I started working on first agreement on the first week. And when someone said, like, in the boot camp itself, we have been told that how to outreach international clients for pro bono first. So I started outreaching, and if someone says no, like, I am free in the month of December 17, for example. So I without a second thought, I said yes, okay. The rest of the things I will manage later on, because the conviction of that kind, that I want to do it. So this way I started doing it. And the conviction, the how you talk to the client, how you understand the concepts, and many things are required. I mean, like Komal ma'am has said rightly, that multi skills are required in this, and we need to build it one by one. We can't rush and run and achieve the things. So have patience and learn step by step, and keep on implementing those things. That will make your way. This is my experience in this.
Wow. Thank you so much for beautiful thoughts and the way you have structured your answer. Thank you so much. Let's move on to Ms. Deepika ji, and let's hear her plans, how she sees that people should plan about building this buffer and having the economic independence.
Okay, so so far as my experience is concerned, the like Komal ma'am has rightly said, like if someone is CA or CS, they shouldn't restrict themselves to accounts, tax, or companies act. You should think out of the box. इसके ये like accounts, tax, GST, and companies act, every CA and CS is doing nowadays. So what other thing that we can do, uh, that someone which is not available in the market, like I have an interest in contract drafting, so I started doing contract drafting through freelancing, and I started understanding the offshore market as well, how the client approaches, how we should answer them. Initially, I used to be very nervous. She knows I used to call her up and मैम मैं इसको ये क्या बोलूँ, मैं इसको क्या जवाब दूँ, मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा. It's like this, but gradually I started understanding foreign clients, what their exact requirement is, and like the key points are that you should think out of the box, do which the others are not doing, do something which the others are not doing. So this is my viewpoint on this. That's
Thank
it.
you. Thank you once again for your beautiful thoughts. Now, I would love to hear from Ms. Shreya about her experience and her nuggets of wisdom up for the people, for the learners, and for the listeners over here on our live YouTube show. Please go ahead.
Taking ahead from what all of the other speakers, Miss Sylvia, Miss Deepika, and Komal ma'am has said, I would also like to add a little bit. See, of course, this is one more thing which is very much required is transparency. I would rather say that, because if you have finances and you have to be, where irrespective whether you're a man or a woman in anything, you have to be transparent with your partner with regard to your finances. Otherwise, you will never be able to overcome that challenge of saving versus spending, expenditure and consumption sorry, consumption versus saving jo hota hai. We have to overcome that, and for that we need to be transparent. फिर और एक चीज है कि talking about upskilling, uh, I have come across this several remote jobs. Remote jobs always require very specific skills like uh, NDA drafting या APAC का data privacy के बारे में ज्ञान हो, EMEA के you know about GDPR and you know about this part, because that is very specific. Okay, and traditional job roles are often also very cut out. When a woman wants to come back, or a man in fact, if he has also taken a career break and anyone wants to come back, the job market is not well aligned to our needs, and therefore, and it's very much like they don't trust people who are going to come back and work initially. uh, they have this thing, you had taken so much of time, what were you doing? Are they were probably, they had personal issues or professional issues, whatever it is. If they are confident enough to sit sit for that exam, then they will definitely want to get back to the entire thing. And since ये पूरा savings के बारे में if we are thinking, ये this confidence to come back and work, it also is, it is required that you get proper support from your family members. Otherwise एक confidence का issue हो जाता है. Otherwise you can't really say that okay fine, I will come back to work. A lot of things depends, as I said, on transparency with your family, your partner. That is very much required, and you have to invest in yourself. You know, like Sylvia ma'am said, that have patience and go step by step. So you have to invest in yourself as well as you talk about investing money and everything, but अपने skills में भी invest करना चाहिए. There you must invest some time every day in yourself. She said now that she started off with one agreement she did it ekdam. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to put here, that you have to uh, believe in yourself, you have to invest in yourself, and if you invest in yourself, your money will grow.
Wow. So we have had such empowering talk today. Thank you all for joining us for this celebration. Now we are being joined by another co-founder of LawSikho, Mrs. Priyanka Karwa, my boss lady, and I would love to invite her and impart some wisdom nuggets for our learners and listeners. Please, ma'am, go ahead.
Hi everyone. Happy International Women's Day to all of you. Yeah. So I would just wanted to add few points to what everyone has discussed and the last part specifically. I've been very clear. Maybe I would say what our childhood teaches us sometimes, that how you need to save the money and how it can be helpful for you. I used to see my mom where she couldn't do that, and sometimes if things were like she needs something, it was very difficult for her to ask every time. And at the age of, I would say at 16, I started earning small money uh, with something with my studies. And I started putting small money from then in FDs. If I had around 4 months of income, then I used to buy something of a gold, a small thing maybe. But that the power of investing, what I learned at that time was something different. The day I started earning, I got married. I asked my husband that, hey, I want to open the Demat account when I started earning. He said, no, doesn't work and all that. It took me 2 years. Will you imagine 2 years to convince him that I want to start this? Because sometime back he lost certain money in the share market. He was not allowing me to do that. But it took me 2 years, but finally I did it. And fortunately, I would say I have created some wealth just by earning every month from initially 500, then to 1000 to 2000 to 5000 every month. That is what I tell my team, that I made a goal at that time that I would love to retire maximum by the age of 50 or 45. And by the meantime, I need to have the wealth which will help me to sustain my future years. I don't know, but yes, that is important, and that's all I always tell my team, that every Sunday spend 1 hour on your financial planning, because that's the most important thing that every person from day one needs to do. First plan what you want to invest, then think, okay, this salary is coming to me. Before that you plan that, okay, if I want to invest, I want to invest 5000, it means I need at least 20,000 salary to sustain my other stuff. So according to me, for every woman, now we have so many of options. Earlier females didn't had the option, but for now we have multiple options. We can do everything online. We have that much of skills to do it. So just invest in your upskilling, invest in your self, invest for your future, which is the most important thing for any female, because you never know what can come in your life, and when you had to take a break, what all things can be unplanned which can come. So just be prepared for yourself, so you don't have to think a lot. I would just add this much. I don't know whether it was off track or on track, but I really wanted to share this, that it's very important for every female to start investing, start building the wealth for their future. Just plan accordingly. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for being here and giving us some time. And now I would like to thank from bottom of my heart that all of you joined us and made this International Women's Day a very beautiful day for LawSikho. We look forward to having all of the listeners, learners, and everyone to be there for skill arbitrage event as well. In case if anyone has any last minute questions or anything, they can share it on chat and we'll get back to you. Thank you so much for coming live with us, all of you, all our esteemed speakers. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot
Great.
for making this a
Pleasure was
success.
all mine. Thank you.
Thank you.